Welcome to Franchise Wars on the High Ground podcast. I'm Stevie W.
And Callum.
So today we're going to do something a little bit different. We do a lot of these different ones.
We do, yeah.
So
keeping it fresh.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to check out, we're going to be looking at today. We're looking at Superman Returns 2006 versus Man of Steel 2013. Now we've already done the whole how we define Superman as Christopher Reeves as our definitive Superman. So check out that podcast. So we're going to look at the two franchise reboots, which is the Superman Returns, which was all but aborted straight afterwards, and Man of Steel, the one that came from right. It was just after. It came just that it was. Let's go. It was the one that came after Dark Knight Rises.
That's right, yeah.
Or you could argue it was, because it came after Green Lantern 2011, which was another DC universe. Yeah. So we've got. I mean, here's the timeline. I looked it up from 2005 from the DC. You got Batman Begins, which is out in 2005.
Yeah.
Which then you go straight to Superman Returns in 2006. Dark Knight was 2008. Green Lantern 2011. Dark Knight Rises in 2012. Then Man of Steel in 2013. So you've got Batman really at the start, we're just leaving as the end one as being 2013's Man of Steel. So you've got 6 DC movies in that period. When if you look at the MCU from which started in 2008, you've got 9 MCU, and the MCU seemed to get it right. Whereas,
although 2013 was the year they made the weakest one, wasn't it? Was it Thor 2?
Thor Dark World 2013. But we'll save that for another one. So Superman Returns versus Man of Steel. Which one?
See, now I had a definitive answer for this recently, and then I rewatched both of them and changed it completely. So I was thinking originally Man of Steel was obviously better, because I thought, well, I don't know why, but I just thought it was sort of called it was like prequel syndrome, and it was cool to hate on Superman Returns because it was, it was the boring one, and it was supposed to be a sequel to Superman 2, and everyone sort of thought Bryan Singer focused more on that than the actual story, making it look like it was from that world rather than building a story for it. But then when I rewatched Superman Returns recently, I actually did see some moments of brilliance in it, and some wasted opportunities that would have made it a nice little sort of continuation. I don't know. I still probably think Man of Steel is better, but I'd say it's probably because it's got more focus. I mean, a bit more focus. It's still quite messy, but I don't know. What do you think?
Going into this, when we were talking about it initially, I was Superman Returns because it's a continuation of the Dick Donner, Christopher Reeves. So there's always going to be a special part of my heart for that. And it's been a while since I've actually watched it. And Man of Steel, I mean, I've always thought that as Zack Snyder's bending to Warner Brothers, who basically want to continue what Christopher Nolan's did with Batman. So, and I like Zack Snyder. I think Watchmen is one of the definitive comic book movies. I love Sucker Punch, and so going into Man of Steel initially, I was, prior to seeing it, I was thinking Man of Steel was going to be good, but my initial thing was it was too dark. It was Superman in Batman universe. But after watching them recently, both pretty much back to back, I'm more gravitating towards Man of Steel. And the funny thing is, it's for all the reasons why I would originally say that I loved the Superman Returns. I mean, on paper, you've got Bryan Singer, hot off of X-Men and X-Men 2. And and X-Men movies, the ones that it's like Martin Campbell did with GoldenEye, then Casino Royale. It's like he rebooted James Bond once and he did it again. It's sort of like Bryan Singer could have. He gave X-Men its first cinematic hit, so how could he go wrong with doing the same thing for Superman?
Yeah.
Should be. And the thing that it hit me is that, trying to recreate a universe 19 years later after Quest for Peace.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a whole different entity to Quest for Peace and Superman 3. But you've got the music, which the music was for Superman Returns was
John Ottman.
I think it was. John Ottman.
John Williams' original score. Though,
but it's archival, and it's it does play heavily on John Williams' score, so that in itself makes Superman Returns feel old in the first place.
Yeah.
Because you associate the Superman main theme and all the John Williams stuff with Richard Donner's Superman going up to Superman 4, because they've all emulated it, and they've used even the buzz you got when they used it in Justice League.
Yeah, like the few bars from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, when you're watching it, it does bring nostalgia.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing you want when in a world now, since 2008, since Iron Man, you don't want nostalgia. You want to be relevant. You don't want to be old. So that's where I see the failings of Superman Returns now.
Yeah, see, that was one of the things that actually made Superman Returns better for me, was the music, because I think it's indistinguishable, isn't it, that theme should not be related to that character.
Yeah.
So, and I think Man of Steel doesn't have any theme really, like music wise. And I thought that's one of the things that did really bring it down for me when I first saw it. There was no there's fist pumping moments in like the Christopher Reeve Superman films, because you're like that watching that film without the John Williams score, like it'd be boring.
Yes.
And I thought that was kind of like a lot of because there's some really good emotional beats in Man of Steel. Like when he's destroying the World Engine, that would have been the perfect moment for like that theme to kick in. And I know they're trying to separate it from like that we're doing something new, but there wasn't really a theme at all.
I completely agree. There is absolutely no. I mean, listen, I think Hans Zimmer's brilliant. And he's.
I think a lot of his recent work's been quite samey though.
Yeah.
Like it's all drums and chanting, isn't it? But he has done some great scores.
Yeah. Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And Pirates of the Caribbean. I love Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean. Just gonna say Pirates of the Caribbean because I like Pirates of the Caribbean. There is no memorable music, but I was listening to very recently John Williams' score. It is so superb, and if he could have just created his own version of that for the film, but with the realism they're trying to get for Man of Steel, would it have actually worked, or would it have taken you out of the movie to have this big?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
you're just still looking at the old Superman, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just because like there is no real theme for Batman, so you can kind of do what you want with that. Like the Danny Elfman one is the best. But,
that's for me as well.
But you could potentially ironically the ones Hans Zimmer did for the Dark Knight trilogy as well were really good. So he's a different kettle of fish when it comes to music, because John Williams didn't touch Batman, so you can kind of you can do your own thing. Whereas I think like it'd be like trying to have doing a prequel to Indiana Jones and having a different composer. Like you just wouldn't work, would it?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah. They reused in Crisis on Infinite Earth, the TV crossover. They use some of the John Williams beats, and to me that elicits an emotion, because when you hear it you think back to the Christopher Reeve character, and it worked perfectly because Brandon Routh is the same incarnation of the character.
Yeah.
So that works, but again, like I said, it makes it old. Henry Cavill is a new Superman, so you need new themes, but they didn't get it right. But story-wise, I never think that it's a hard one for me. If we're just talking about the actual the story, there's a lot of things I don't like in either of them.
Oh yeah. They're not. Neither of them are anywhere near as good as the originals.
I mean, you can't top this is talking superheroes in general. Richard Donner created the definitive superhero origin story. So anything else, perfect 3-act. And doing Bryan Singer's Superman Returns is just a continuation. So originality's out the window, whereas Man of Steel is way too dark.
We said this a lot of the times together, didn't we? That there's no humour, nothing to break it up. Like even in like the most sort of downbeat Marvel film, there's humour, isn't there? Even Endgame, like everything's gone to shit, and Ant-Man's still funny, and people still make jokes, and it does relieve that tension. Like I think even the Dark Knight trilogy had humour, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like there was jokes and there was like moments, but there's nothing in this at all. It's just so unrelentingly bleak, isn't it?
Yeah. And spoilers, the ending with General Zod.
I like that. I really like that.
I liked it in a sequel, but I really wanted Zod. I think Michael Shannon was superb.
Oh, he's fantastic, yeah.
And I just want to touch on it while over here. His motivation, I think we'll touch on later on the podcast, but his motivation is so superior to that given to Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey's Lex Luthor. And the villain doesn't see themselves as the bad guy. And,
no.
And whereas, oh my God, it's Lex Luthor going at it again, destroys Superman, and the whole property thing about creating property. That was done.
That was the first
in Richard Donner's. So why are you bringing it up again? And why are you using a classic villain in that way? Whereas, other than Superman has to choose between doing what's right and everything. So I understand that, but Michael Shannon's General Zod, which he doesn't try to be Terrence Stamp,
and they which don't try. I was quite glad of.
Yeah.
And
I just
he kind of reminded me of like retroactively of like a Thanos. Like he's doing it, like it's still wrong what he's doing, but you kind of think, well, I know why he's doing it. Like he's the other side of the coin of Superman, isn't he? Like he's lost his planet as well, but he was there, so he knew what it was like, and he knew what he lost and what Jor-El did to him, basically. So that reason that he has is flawed, but it's still quite a perfectly understandable reason.
Well, he's programmed like a robot.
Yeah.
Superman.
Yeah.
In Zack Snyder's.
Like genetic experts, aren't they? The Kryptonian.
Yeah. So Kal-El has the opportunity to be whatever he wanted to be on Krypton because he was a natural birth, first one in centuries. Whereas General Zod was built to protect Krypton and the Krypton way of life. And like he says, without that, he's nothing.
Yeah.
So he will fight to the end. Like you said, you'll have to, Superman, you'll have to kill it. You'll have to kill me or save your people. So Superman, Kal-El's given no option but to do what he has to do. Whereas, destroy Superman. To quote Superman 4. That's the whole.
Yeah. I've never even picked up on that, and now you've said it. It's unseeable.
Yeah.
Like that is the same motivation as Superman 4.
Yeah.
Do you know? I really like the fact that he has to kill Zod because, Superman doesn't kill at all. That's like his ethos, isn't it?
Yeah.
And like I always thought like, why does he think like that? And it was nice to sort of get this might be the reason why, because the last person he killed was one of his own race, the last person of his own race. So that's why he never kills, because he's deliberately made himself an orphan again.
Yeah.
Like obviously through no fault of his own. Like Zod put him in that situation, but it's still the reason behind that's quite clever. Like the last person I killed was one of my own, so I won't do it ever again, no matter who it is.
Yeah.
And I like that. Like I always thought it was a bit flaky when Batman sort of says, I won't kill, because that's what caused all this pain. I like it when Batman kills bad guys. I think it's like edgy and like, because Michael Keaton kills that guy in the bell tower in the first one, doesn't he? And he straps a bomb to that guy in return.
Yeah, circus clown.
Yeah, and then that's what I liked about Ben Affleck in Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't care. Like he's grizzled and he's older and he's like.
He marks people in jail.
Yeah, exactly.
Just so they're going to get the shit kicked out of him, so he doesn't have to dirty his own hands.
Yeah.
He still gets the same. And
I like that. I think that's Batman has the scope for that sort of character. But I always think those stories where Superman turns evil are a bit hokey, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because you think, well, I don't know.
It does. It works. I mean, that's the only good bit about Superman 3.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
So, but I mean, I know everybody balls on it because he's such a great performance. But the bit when Batman loses his shit in the
interrogation room.
In Dark Knight, that everybody goes. I mean, Heath Ledger, may rest in peace. Fantastic performance. But to me, it's Christian Bale. I mean, he should have been nominated as well because his performance was just as good as Heath Ledger's. When he loses his shit, Heath Ledger's only as good because Christian Bale, and yeah.
Hey, he asked him to hit him for real as well.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that until recently.
Yeah. And that's someone that all the fanboys didn't want to play the Joker.
Yep.
But so yeah, I mean, the color scheme of Man of Steel was very much. I mean, this I'm gonna say, if you look at say the likes of Alita: Battle Angel and Terminator: Dark pile of crap. Sorry, Dark Fate. I fucking hate that film. Seriously, don't like Terminator: Dark Fate. Which are ones where you've got James Cameron overseeing
someone else.
Yeah. And where you can see not so much. I mean, Dark Fate's got as far as I'm concerned, it's got James Cameron's fingerprints all over it more than anyone.
Yeah.
And Alita has got it more does Alita does look more like a James Cameron than it does a Rodriguez film. But as Man of Steel, you can tell that Warner Brothers has said, we made our money out of Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises. This is how we want the DCEU to look. Because Marvel are all bright, we go all dark because comic books aren't all bright.
It's so muted, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not even... Yeah, I don't know. It's just... Which is weird because Zack Snyder's quite good with colour usually.
He's brilliant.
Like, he's very sort of visual director, isn't he? Like, there's a style, there's an atmosphere you get, and it just seemed really toned down in Man of Steel. Like even the Superman suit, when you see it, the yellow's really dull and the blue's almost black and the red's. It's just like you see the original Christopher Reeve and it's like it's so bright, like, and even like you pointed out about each act is colour themed.
Yeah,
I
got that from somewhere.
That's clever. Like it makes you pay attention. I just think maybe until like Wonder Woman, all the DC films are really dark and muted. Yeah. That was at least quite colourful. Yeah.
And Shazam went completely off the Richter scale.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I agree with that. I think in that respect, Superman Returns has a nicer palette.
Yeah.
Like it looks more like the original.
For me, when Zack Snyder was announced around about the same time Sucker Punch came out, because I remember sitting in the cinema watching Sucker Punch, going, I can't wait to see Zack Snyder's Superman, because I love the Watchmen and the Sucker Punch. It's like so tough. I was like, they're gonna do it very cartoony in terms of
300. I was thinking of as well.
So I was thinking, yes, Zack Snyder is gonna give us a Zack Snyder Superman film.
Yeah.
But then the whole MCU completely exploded.
Yeah,
and it all became more about
a Warner Brothers film directed by Zack Snyder, wasn't it? Yeah.
Rather than and that's why I'm going to be quite interested to see the Snyder cut. See if the of Justice League, to see if we can actually get a glimpse of what Zack Snyder's could do with this universe.
Well, that was so completely Joss Whedon, wasn't it? You could tell.
Yes.
Like the dialogue and the, like the beats and that. And I didn't actually think it was terrible. I actually went in thinking it would be awful and came out thinking, no, that was alright actually. I didn't hate it. I thought it was better than Batman v Superman actually.
I'm about to do another rewatch on Justice League, but I just finished the theatrical of Batman vs Superman. I'm going to do the director's cut soon again. For the record, I've seen all these films before a few times, but Justice League, even though it's a shorter film, is striking me as being the one I don't want to do, but I'm having to do it.
Yeah, it's definitely like you can tell it's one of those films that had a troubled production. I mean, obviously, like it was unavoidable what happened and tragic, but you could tell it's one of those films that's been changed.
Yeah.
Like because there's like story beats where you think, well, expand on that, please. Like, I think the whole cyborg thing was like definitely more to that, wasn't there?
And Superman was a different tale.
Yeah.
With the black suit, which is I'm holding out for that, which we will be doing Snyder Cut versus the original, the hybrid version, I suppose you could call it.
The Whedon cut.
The Whedon
That's
cut.
what they call it, I think,
yeah.
isn't it?
So,
I mean, don't get me wrong. What he did with the Avengers is great.
Yeah, definitely.
And he was the right person, because everyone forgets he's a comic book writer as well.
Yeah.
He's continued Buffy in the comics.
Nice.
So like, he knows how to do it. I think he was just sort of like they were thinking, who can we get that's done a team up movie before? Oh, Joss Whedon will do it.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like it's like with the Suicide Squad. He's out of contract at the moment.
James Gunn.
Yes.
And then they took him back afterwards. So.
Well, I was reading somewhere afterwards that James Gunn was never not going to come back to the MCU. They just needed when that. I don't know the guy's name, but when that
arsehole.
Yeah. Because James Gunn said some stuff
10 years ago.
Yeah. He literally trolled through, and if you ever look it up, if you want to find the guy's a total tool who did it. He did it for his own.
Oh, of course he did.
So for his own little agenda, because he didn't like what Zack Snyder was saying politically, so he went and dug out stuff that was online. But like you said, Zack Snyder said he apologised and he did everything right. Came off social media for a while.
It's just, imagine if everyone judged us by what we said or did 10 years ago. We'd all be screwed, wouldn't we?
But you look at James Gunn's outlay at the time. We're going to for a James Gunn thing now.
Zack Snyder. Dawn of the Dead, wasn't it? He wrote Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
Also directed by Zack Snyder.
Good film. I'm going to have to watch Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
A good remake. They take it as a separate entity from the original. But yeah, I am pro James Gunn. Just want to throw that out there. But
what are they doing with the Suicide Squad? Is it a reboot or is it a sequel?
Reboot type thing.
With the same people?
Yeah.
So
I don't really know.
Actors in it again. For anyone out there, Steve just absolutely despises Will Smith.
Yeah, okay. I don't just like him as a person.
No.
He hasn't made a film yet that I actually go, wow, that's a great film. In my opinion. If you say Independence Day, I'm going to say Mars Attacks. Sorry. Better film in that period.
I always preferred Independence Day.
Mars Attacks. Which links us to Batman.
Yeah.
But, the thing is, with Superman, because Superman's a character I grew up with, every time I go to, I don't go into these films going, I want to, I'm going to see Superman Returns, I'm going to see Man of Steel, I'm not going to like it.
Yeah. Don't go see them.
Yeah, so I'm not one of these people who does that. I want to go and see a film. I don't fucking pay my money to sit in the cinema. Even with Terminator Dark Fate, I just go and see that in the cinema expecting to fucking hate it. I went to the cinema expecting it to be a groundbreaking and brilliant film. And I want to come out of a Superman film or feeling that I want to go and sit in that cinema and watch it again and again and again.
Yeah.
It's like Star Wars Episode 9. The fourth time we went to see that, we weren't going to see it for research or for looking for stuff. We went to see it just so you could sit down and enjoy it.
Relax. I think the first time you're never relaxing, are you? Because you're sort of like excited and you're looking for things, and after that you can sort of relax and sit back, can't you?
Yeah. Like when it's one of my favourite things. I know a lot of people think it's a terrible film when we're sitting down and watching Superman 4. I'm just sitting watching it going, I know where that is.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
I actually have a soft spot for that now.
So I mean, one of the things I'm most favourite things I've done in the last few years is going to Milton Keynes and taking you to the train station just so you could actually see where they filmed.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, if you ever are in the UK, then that's go visit Metropolis in Buckinghamshire.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Home of roundabouts and steel cows. Sorry, not steel cows, concrete cows.
Oh, is that what they call them?
Concrete cows, yeah. They have concrete cows used to be all over the place. I can't remember where they are now. But Milton Keynes is good.
I suppose like any talk of comparing Superman must contain like, like the unmade Superman film they were going to make with Nicolas Cage, or like with anyone like
Giant Spiders, John Peters.
Yeah, well, which would you have been interested in seeing them do that whole Death of Superman thing with different directors like Kevin Smith and
Fuck yeah.
You know, Tim Burton was it Superman Lives, it was called, wasn't it?
Yeah, he came on and there's a lot of stories about that. Kevin Smith's script.
Yeah.
Tim Burton claimed he never read a early Kevin Smith comic book that had something similar to the outcome of it. No, that was Planet of the Apes. Sorry, scratch that. No, I was pro. I wanted to see them. Nick Cage.
I did, yeah. I want to see that. There's a documentary about it, but I don't know where you can get it from.
We know either, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be quite good, isn't it? I mean, I've seen the outfit, but it's a bit shit.
And the wig.
Yeah.
And the muscle suit that he was wearing. Yeah, that was a film that I really did want to. You remember in the 90s when this was all announced, I was still reading Superman comics. So Superman was the big thing for me. That was. It's one that annoys me. Okay, listeners, a lot of people, I've been accused before of being a Marvel fanboy, and it annoys me, especially with people who don't know me. I read until I ran out of cash at uni. I read Superman comics for 10 years, over 10 years. So when people call me a Marvel fanboy, couldn't be more further from the truth. So I have an invested interest in the characters.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would have loved to have seen that incarnation of Superman. Because at the same time where they could have easily have got Michael Keaton back to play Batman. Imagine Michael Keaton and whoever they chose, make Michael Keaton, Nicolas Cage in a Superman movie, in a Batman vs Superman, with a cameo from Christopher Reeve.
It's just making me want to go back to the 90s now, isn't it? Tim Burton directing it.
Oh, that would be brilliant. Go back to prior to Christopher Reeve's accident. Reeve, Keaton, Nicholson, Hackman. That would have blown everything out of the water.
Yeah. That would have been like, I don't know, like if you would have got a universe out of it, but it definitely would have been like, people would have been like, that was the film of the decade, wouldn't they?
Definitely, especially a Tim Burton film.
Yeah.
But how many Happy Meals would it sell if Tim Burton directed it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I sort of hold that as a point of, you know, a point of respect now that Batman Returns was denied sales by McDonald's. You know, like, it's too intelligent for kids to buy Happy Meals. You know, good.
Definitely. It's got one of the greatest scenes, in my honest opinion, with the kiss under the mistletoe, hitting the ball when they realise who each other is.
And there's another nice little added layer to that scene where everyone else is wearing masks. It's a mask ball and they're not.
No,
so it's sort of like saying like the masks are their real identities.
Which brings us to Kal-El.
Yeah.
Whereas everybody else is a superhero, is a normal person being a superhero. Kal is a superhero.
Being a normal person.
Yeah.
Yeah, his alter ego is Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I believe that is from Kill Bill, isn't it, as well?
Is it?
Bill says about it, doesn't he? About all the other superheroes are basically like alter egos, but Clark Kent is the only one whose Superman is the real identity. And I've always remembered it. No. It's probably like a lot of people probably know it, but it's just I always remember that scene from it, because obviously Tarantino would know something like that.
Yes. If anything lodges in your head and you can't remember where you get it from,
that'd be interesting. Tarantino Superman film.
Who would Samuel L. Jackson play?
I don't know.
Michael Madsen?
Maybe.
Michael Madsen, you got to have him in there somewhere. You'd have to have
Tim Roth. But
Tim Roth. Lex Luthor.
Thurman.
Tim Roth would be good.
Yeah. Uma Thurman as Lois Lane.
Leonardo DiCaprio as Jor-El.
Yeah.
Would you came up with a film, Tarantino, do not retire after 10, do a Superman movie.
Oh god.
Can we just we will be continuing with our Tarantino thing soon with Kill Bill.
Yes.
But
I didn't actually mean that as a connection, but that did just that's a good reminder.
Yeah. Okay, I've gone back. I'm going to go to the notes. So problem with Superman Returns is it cannot compete with the two. Well, I'm saying two Richard Donner films because I consider the Dick Donner cut to be the definitive Superman 2.
Yeah.
So after that, you're just doing a sequel. You're doing the third one.
Yeah.
So with you know, it would have worked if it had a better story. I mean, I was going to go on the things that really, part of my life, would piss me off about Superman Returns. Is you know, this is just as bad as Benedict Cumberbatch in Star Trek. Christoph Waltz in Spectre.
Yeah.
You knew it was Superman's son right from the start. So,
yeah.
And I didn't like the fact that Lois Lane would not go for anyone other than she'd hold out for Clark.
She's
for
quite
Superman.
vindictive in it, actually, isn't she? And it doesn't seem like I hate to say hashtag not my Lois Lane, but it isn't like it's not like Amy Adams is a much better Lois Lane.
Yeah,
I think that's more in keeping with like she's sassy and she's attitudey, isn't she? But she's not like malicious. And I think Kate Bosworth feels a bit sort of like she's doing it all just to get in Clark's face. Oh,
yeah.
Like I'm married with a kid now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really like that either, to be honest.
It didn't make any sense at all.
It's not one of our listeners, is it?
No. It didn't make it. No, that's. I have no idea what this is. 1 second. Hello. This is there's a little thing when you say you won't hang up and they keep ringing you back. Never ever fall for scams regarding Amazon. Hang up.
Or scams in general.
Yeah, scams. Yeah, if they say they're for Amazon and you're gonna get your account cut off, it's a load of bollocks. They will not phone you to tell you that. Just throw it out there. And the thing is, this was an automated one. So this is a little PSA.
Nice little good thing about doing them live. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
No, if someone
life information.
Exactly. If somebody, this is what I read, and this is what I always try and do. If you ever get a phone call and it's a scammer, you try and keep them talking for the pure and simple reason that the next person they phone could be an old elderly couple or someone that hasn't got a clue what they're doing, and they'll give over the money. So the more you keep them talking, the more you annoy them, then you've got less chance of scamming someone else straight afterwards. So that's my little public service announcement.
Bastards.
Yeah. Back to where we were, which is
Superman's son.
Yeah.
Dumb as fuck.
Yep. That was Vindictive Kate Bosworth.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
I thought she was too one-dimensional as well.
Awful. I don't think she's a great actress at all.
Yeah. And it was one of the worst pieces of dialogue in superhero movies, and there's been some shit superhero dialogue.
Wrong.
Yeah. Say it. Superman's gonna save me. No, I'm Kevin Spacey. No Gene Hackman. I'm sorry. I can say this now. I'm judging Gene Hackman. Sorry, not Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman is, to me, the greatest Lex Luthor. But Kevin Spacey, we're judging him on his acting, not the person that we found out him to be now. But his performance is shit.
No, see, I used to really like him as Lex Luthor in that until that moment where he goes wrong.
Yeah.
I thought like he looks the part and he acts like kind of dickish like Lex does, but yeah. See, ironically, growing up, I always thought Gene Hackman was a bad Lex Luthor. Like he was done purely for comedy and stuff, but later on, upon watching it again, I have come to appreciate like the sort of, I don't know, like just he's such a great actor that the gravitas he brings to it is, it's like Terence Stamp as Zod, isn't it? He's a bit campy.
I'll kneel before Zod.
Yeah, but that's all you associate with.
Yeah.
You say Zod, you think of him right away.
You say that to some people, they go, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, that as well, yeah.
But
the initiated, shall we say?
Yeah, I've always said if I was to, I know he's retired and his age, but up until a few weeks ago, my Lex Luthor is
the ICC game.
Alexa, stop.
Oh, Alexa's playing up now.
My Lex Luthor is Gene Hackman. And it only took till recently, since watching Crisis on Infinite Earth, I actually found a Lex Luthor I like. Bear in mind, I didn't watch Smallville, which I've been told I've got to watch.
Oh yeah, Michael Rosenbaum's probably the TV-wise the best Lex Luthor.
John Cryer. I've only seen him in Crisis in Infinite Earth, but it's made me actually want to watch Supergirl now.
Lenny Luthor, is it?
Oh yeah, but he's good as Lex in Crisis on Infinite Earth. And this goes where it makes me want to actually go and watch Supergirl again, just so I can see John Cryer, because his performance is one of my favourite performances on the Crisis.
I think Lex Luthor's a bit like the Joker for me. Like, it's completely hit and miss who plays him. I mean, I think Jesse Eisenberg is absolutely awful.
Oh, he is.
I think he's just like, he just seems like the Joker. So we might as well just cast him as that. But it's like when it's like the Joker as well. I think like that's a really sort of intricate villain to play, isn't it? Like you have to sort of bring your sensibilities to it rather than just be comic book Joker, because then that'd just be the 60s one again, wouldn't it? But you know, like the ones that have played it, Jack Nicholson's perfect. Heath Ledger was great. Although it did annoy me a little bit at the time when everyone was like, "Oh, he's the greatest Joker!" Like, oh, better than Jack Nicholson. Who?
Different generation.
Yeah, that's for another.
Geek generation versus the more popular generation.
Yeah. But then I absolutely hated Jared Leto as well as Joker. He was absolutely terrible.
I'm not saying anything because I've only watched that film once.
It's the same thing though. Like Lex Luthor's quite a hard villain to sort of put on screen. It sounds weird because he is just like a business. He's basically just an evil version of Batman, isn't he?
Yeah.
But
I want to say one thing regarding Jesse Eisenberg. If you stumbled upon this podcast and because you like superhero movies and everything, and all you know is Jesse Eisenberg from Batman vs Superman, go and watch Zombieland. He's absolutely fucking brilliant.
And the Social Network as well. He's very good on that. Like, he's good at playing dicks.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't know. I don't think he is in real life, but it just seems like there's certain people that are good at playing dicks, isn't there? Like,
I love him in Zombieland, especially Zombieland 2, which I think is just a superb movie. But okay, which one did you prefer? I mean, we've mentioned quite a few things so far. So Brandon Routh or Henry Cavill in terms of Superman and Clark Kent.
See, I've always had a point of contention with Henry Cavill. I really don't think he's a good Superman at all. Not through any fault of his own. I mean, we always say, don't we, like, it's not the actors, it's the script.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. But I think Brandon Routh sort of had that innocent quality about him that Christopher Reeve had. And I know that's kind of deliberate because he's supposed to be Christopher Reeve, isn't he? But I don't know, something seemed more Superman about him than it did with Henry Cavill. I don't know why.
With Brandon Routh, there's more of a distinction between Clark and Superman, whereas with
there's no Clark in Man of Steel.
No,
that's the weird thing.
It's the same. He's the same character.
Yeah.
He just puts a pair of glasses on. So
so
where you've got more believability that you could be fooled. Some people could be fooled. So I mean, because they both bring a lot of love to the character, you know. And So I don't want to disrespect one or the other because this is not what we do in this podcast. We're not going to. It's you say it's the writing, not the performances, and they're both. I think they're both good as. Brandon Routh is his problem is he's trying to be another person's incarnation of the character.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill's never really been given he was never given the opportunity to actually show what he could do because Batman vs Superman was more of a Batman movie.
Oh, of course it was. Yeah, we were all like, when they announced that the Man of Steel was part of their extended universe, all everyone said was, "When's Batman coming?"
Yeah,
you know, like, and I think they sort of tried to do something different by having him be included in a movie with another superhero rather than have his origin story, which I actually quite liked. I liked the fact that he was sort of thrust into. And he was older and he'd already gone through a lot of things. I quite liked that, but that was a Batman film. No question about it.
I hope they do bring Henry Cavill back to actually play him.
I mean, I'm sad Ben Affleck got canned, or he left. I don't know. Did he leave?
That's so many stories.
I've heard he wasn't treated very well. Like he said, the experience wasn't very good for him, I think.
Especially when he was charged for buying them for.
It's so bad, isn't it?
Yeah, they get charged. If they want the suits, they're gonna have to pay for it. If they get charged for missing props.
Yeah, that's just. I mean, and when you compare the stories to like Marvel, where Chris Hemsworth probably got his hammer, and and it's just.
You look at Chris Pratt and Chris Evans, who literally go in costumes around hospitals. Do you think Marvel will say? It's like they walk off set with the costumes and they keep the costume Johnny Depp's got the pirate's costume. He goes to hospitals and stuff. So it's
That'd be. I wouldn't even care if I was ill. I would just want Johnny Depp to turn up as Jack Sparrow. Imagine having a drink with Jack Sparrow and
cool.
Weatherspoons or something.
Oh, that would be cool. Oh, after COVID's gone.
After COVID's gone.
Yeah, but it's more business rather than thinking. The thing is, these suits can only fit the actors.
Yeah, so
they look good on their displays.
Yeah. But I mean, funnily hospital related, there was a story that Warner Brothers refused to show Justice League to a kid that was dying, and then as soon as Marvel showed an Endgame and an Endgame work print to someone that was dying of cancer, and it was this is what we've done so far. You're the people we want to see it. So, and then they reversed their decision and were like, "Oh yeah, you can see it now."
But that's bad.
That is really bad.
That is bad.
I did hear Zack Snyder thought to say sort of that's not fair.
No.
But I never had a problem with Zack Snyder as a person.
No.
With these films, it's just like we said earlier. It just feels like a Warner Brothers pressure.
I like. I'm rose tinted glasses. It's the whole Watchmen thing, because the Watchmen, every beat in the Watchmen to me is perfect. And the changes they made from the comic book to the big screen is perfect. So when you make something like that, I can't disrespect it.
No, I actually think the film is better than the comic. Controversially, I think the comic's too cold.
I like them both.
There's no. I don't know. There's no hope, and whereas in the film, I kind of got the sense that there could be.
You touched on something about you were saying about Zack Snyder as a director. Now, before we continue, I'm going to say Zack Snyder versus Bryan Singer. Which one do you prefer? Not in terms of controversy, because Bryan Singer, you really
wins hands down, doesn't he?
It's talking about cinematic outlook.
I don't know. Well, if you're talking about pre-Superman Returns, I would definitely say Bryan Singer, because X-Men was phenomenal. But I don't know. I think style-wise, Zack Snyder sort of has the upper hand. Because I mean, like you say, you look at things like 300 and Sucker Punch, and even Dawn of the Dead. There's a palette there that's so rich and so even if the film's not great, you're kind of well, it looks cool. It's nice to watch. And I don't know. Bryan Singer's probably quite good as well with the visuals, but I think they're quite different, aren't they?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a hard one.
Bryan Singer, director,
Definitely.
but he actually brought the realism into the comic book movies with the costumes for the X-Men, so you've got to give him more credit for that.
Yeah, they even reference that, don't they?
Yeah, well, you prefer yellow and blue spandex. Whereas Superman Returns is trying to use the colour palette of Richard Donner version of the films. X-Men and X-Men 2, they bring in the superheroes into a real world, which you could say argue influenced the Nolan Batman films.
Yeah.
So he's got credit for creating a modern day version of superhero movies.
Yeah. See, as a side note, I also think Nolan is quite a muted colour director.
Yeah.
A lot of his films are greys and whites and and blacks. I don't know if that's deliberate. I mean, Interstellar for me at first was unwatchable. Because it was too dark and too colour wise, not tone wise, and too, I don't know, sort of muted. It really put me off until I watched it again recently. I think he's another director that likes working with muted tones. Dunkirk as well.
Dunkirk's brilliant.
It is brilliant, yeah. But I mean, that's just his thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Funny thing is, if you look at the outlay, because this was just talking superhero films. After Man of Steel, Zack Snyder did Batman vs Superman and Justice League. And the version we haven't seen, which if you compare Bryan Singer did Days of Future Past, which definitely out of the films is brilliant. He also did Apocalypse.
He did, yeah.
And he did Bohemian Rhapsody as well, but we're just scratching. We're just talking superhero films here. So if anyone does say Bohemian Rhapsody, we're talking superhero films.
And apparently most of that was Max, the other guy that took over for a bit.
The guy who did what's it called?
Can't remember his name now. English guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he did what's the film called? The Elton John film.
Oh, Rocket Man.
Yeah.
He
did that.
His name now.
Rocket Man, which was.
Oh, is it Dexter Fletcher?
Dexter Fletcher. Yeah.
Don't know where I got Max from.
Yeah, Dexter Fletcher. So, you know, both Zack Snyder and Bryan Singer do know their
Oh yeah,
comic book.
definitely, yeah.
But I do think that if Zack Snyder had got the opportunity to make a Zack Snyder movie, his would have been the superior one.
Oh yeah.
Rather than just borrowing with with the blessing of the Donners, because Lauren Shuler worked with Bryan Singer on the X-Men movies, so
I'd imagine Richard had some sort of input as well.
Yeah.
Maybe on Returns.
Definitely. So you go with Zack Snyder, do you?
Probably. I mean, one thing I meant to mention that I haven't yet is I think the opening sequence of Man of Steel is fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that. Like the war on Krypton was, like, it wasn't a war in the original, was it? But it kind of makes more sense that there was some sort of divide going on between all of them. Thank you. Between all of them, to make them think. No, not just the world being destroyed.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of just like in the original, the world's being destroyed. Oh, I don't believe you. Whereas I like the idea of there being like well, this is how we should live our lives, not the way you do it. I really like that.
Yeah.
And seeing Krypton as like this futuristic civilization as well.
Again, which draws to something we said earlier. Zack Snyder's Man of Steel gets the points because it tried to do something different rather than rehash. So new versus old.
Completely.
So, which brings us to Jor-El.
I was just about to say Jor-El, yeah.
I am going to go with. We're talking Superman Returns. We're not talking Man of Steel. We're not talking the Richard Donner films. I like. Again, it goes back to what we were saying. I like the Russell Crowe.
I like Russell Crowe, yeah.
I think giving a new take rather than rehashing.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And his relationship with General Zod is more fleshed out.
Yeah, and he's kind of a badass as well, isn't he? Like,
yeah,
that fight at the start's pretty good with him and Zod, isn't it?
So,
and it works with him more as like a hologram in Man of Steel, I think, than just the big floating head. That was great in the original, but it was kind of like he wasn't really even in Returns, was he? It was kind of just, was it like footage they didn't use or CG'd or whatever?
But
I mean, they even reuse dialogue, don't they?
Yeah.
About the, I've sent you them, my only son.
Yeah. One of the successes of Man of Steel is that it's not trying to be another film.
No.
Which when X-Men and Spider-Man have been out, and Batman Begins, you don't need a legacy, you need new.
Yeah.
At least we're trying with Man of Steel for new. So I don't know which villain do you prefer? Because you got Lex Luthor and you got General Zod.
I prefer General Zod, just because Michael Shannon's like unreal, isn't he? Like, and like we said before, he's more fleshed out than just like destroy Superman basically, isn't it? Like, and just reusing the plot from the first one about property was just sloppy, I thought.
Yeah.
Because thinking about it now, like Lex in the original films does have quite a nice little sort of set of story beats, because the first one he's the main villain, like, I'm going to destroy all this to make money, and then the second one he's kind of like the stooge, ain't he, for Zod and Ursa and can't remember the big guy's name. Non, is it?
Non.
Yeah. So you got like character arcs, whereas he's just kind of like that stereotypical how I imagine Superman was in like the original comics, where Lex Luthor was just a mad scientist. Yeah, I much preferred Zod, 100%.
I completely agree.
He's like a soldier, isn't he? Basically, so.
Perry White. Frank Rogella versus Lawrence Fishburne.
I quite like Frank Langella. He wasn't bad, but you only saw him. It's hard because Superman Returns only happened once, isn't it?
Yeah.
Probably Lawrence Fishburne, just because it's Goliath, isn't it, from Ant-Man?
Oh, he's good. I think Frank Langella just put in a typical
grumpy old guy.
Yeah, performance. It was just it was your painting by the numbers. Perry White. whereas Lawrence Fishburne had that element of realism and everything. And the bit where, when the building comes down, he's doing whatever he can to.
I really like that. Like, instead of him just being stuck in the office all the time. Yeah, I like that.
So I'll give him that. Plus, I think he's that part of me is so glad it didn't pan out for him in that universe, because we got him in Ant-Man and Wasp. So I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And he was good in Ant-Man and Wasp. Actually, they all are in Ant-Man and Wasp. If you haven't seen Ant-Man and Wasp, watch Ant-Man and Wasp.
I think one interesting thing we haven't mentioned yet is there's no Jimmy Olsen in the Man of Steel universe.
Oh. I thought it was that girl.
I don't know. I mean, unless I've missed it, but there's no like obvious. There is probably a version of him. I don't know.
There is a female girl. There's a girl. Obviously, a female girl. I mean,
female
absolutely. Female girl as opposed to any other kind of girl. There was a Jenny. We thought Jenny was.
Maybe she's supposed to be like Jenny Olsen.
Jenny Olsen. That's what I got. That's what I actually.
But I mean, there's no real focus on them, is there? Like, he's usually quite a big part as well, isn't he? Like,
yeah.
He's sort of Lewis's sidekick, isn't he?
Yeah. So that's I'm sure that's Jenny. Yeah. That's who I thought was.
Oh, it's the one that Lawrence Fishburne's trying to save, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe she is supposed
that's
to be.
That's what I thought. I thought when they were trying something different, I thought that was a Jimmy character. I thought they were just.
It was interesting that Jimmy Olsen in Returns is out of Fanboys, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Fanboys is brilliant. And Detroit Rock City, Sam Huntington.
Yeah, and Cal Penn was in it as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, Kumar.
About that.
Kumar from Harold and Kumar. Which,
But he's just a mindless henchman, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's another scene that really bothers me, where Lex stabs Superman with that kryptonite shot.
Yeah.
And they just beat the living shit out of him.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't seem. That seems too cruel. Like, it doesn't seem right at all, does it?
You're a henchman and you want to kill someone. Why didn't they just put a bullet in his head?
Yeah, while he was all krypton bullets.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if that works.
Maybe he's weakened, so you did a bit of. But
no,
that
they
was
just chuck him in the water where he can recover. It's just dumb, isn't it?
Is that just some kind of like getting off, like kicking the shit out of someone?
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was really mean spirited.
Yeah.
Like, and it was weird because it was in that movie and not Man of Steel.
Yeah.
I mean, Man of Steel is just basically like, you don't mind the Kryptonians battering the absolute living daylights out of each other, do you? But it just seems really like that's a human way to kill someone, isn't it? Kicking them to death.
Definitely.
Like, it just seemed really, I don't know.
Eliciting an emotion by hitting someone when they're down.
Yeah, yeah.
But
what about the fight scenes? I mean, there's not really any in Returns, is there? So.
What I was thinking the other day, in regard to both of these films, when you tell the CG and everything.
It has dated quite a bit, hasn't it? I think more in Man of Steel, actually.
Yeah.
The fight scenes especially.
Because I know they were trying to just emulate the first ones in Superman Returns,
but see, I'd rather watch those fights because like it's real guys getting thrown around on strings and like bashing into Coca-Cola signs and blowing the street up with their super breath and that. Like, there's something cool about the old sod fights.
Oh yeah, Superman 2 are perfect.
Yeah,
I can't fault the visuals or anything in that.
No. Whereas, I don't know. And then there's that whole argument, isn't there, of like the collateral damage thing that they address in Batman v Superman. I actually quite like that opening sequence as well.
Yeah.
Where Bruce Wayne's actually turns out to have been there at the time, and that's why he doesn't like him. I thought that was quite good. That was quite clever. That's
the motivation.
Yeah.
Destroying of Wayne Corp's building in Metropolis.
Yeah.
But
again, Ben Affleck, good.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with him.
I'd
say he's up there.
I like him
in the top 3 Batmans, I think.
Definitely.
There isn't many more, is there? Really?
No, he should have been given more of an opportunity.
Oh, definitely, 100%. The only Batman related thing I didn't like in that was Alfred. Like, Jeremy Irons is too young to play Alfred.
Yeah,
and he's a bit creepy in it, isn't he? I don't know what it is about. I do like him. Yeah. He's Simon Gruber, isn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is that he just seems a bit creepy in it. I think one of the best castings for Alfred is in if you've watched Gotham TV show. Sean Pertwee is a fantastic Alfred when he's younger, because he's like this Cockney geezer that's like
Yeah,
SAS trained, and he's really cool.
Yeah, so we'll have a look at
That'd be interesting. The grosses,
Ready for this?
Can I make a prediction?
Yeah.
Man of Steel made more.
How much more?
Well, I know it wasn't $1 billion. I'm pretty sure it wasn't.
Nope.
I don't know. I would imagine it made a lot more, because I know Superman Returns only just got not far off its budget. Maybe 100 million more than its budget.
Superman Returns made less than 100 million.
Oh, really? Wow.
Actually, no, just over. Sorry, I was reading it wrong.
I'm going to guess it's about 200 million to make. Returns, was it? No.
Closer to 270.
Really? Wow.
Budget for Superman, I rounded these off, was $270 million.
Right.
The USA gross was 200 million. So Superman Returns is full gross. Worldwide gross was 391 million.
Wow. So they only made 30. No. Nearly 100.
121 million.
Wow.
In profits. Now this is going by Superman Returns was 2006, and that was made for 270. 213's Man of Steel was made for 225 million.
I'd imagine it made about 500.
It scored 291 million on US.
Oh, we're on about. Oh, sorry, I thought you meant worldwide.
Worldwide, it made 668.
Not far off.
So it didn't crack $1 billion.
No, it's just
By a
over
long
half,
shot.
isn't it?
But it's
Well, I found it astonishing, like what they consider failures now. Like,
yeah.
I think Batman v Superman made something like 800, and they're like, they just acted like, oh yeah, that was a bit of a bomb. So, and imagine if you just made $800 million. Like, oh no, it's a bomb.
But Marvel made $1 billion.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Marvel made $1 billion on second-rate characters that nobody's ever heard about.
Yeah, so we can do it with our first-rate ones.
That's it. He made a. Yeah, that was me trying to do my best warmonger impression.
But Marvel can also make good films.
Yeah. you know, people. Yeah, I've got an idea. I've got an idea for a film. We'll have a talking raccoon.
Yeah.
We'll have a tree that says "I am Groot." That's all it says, and we'll just throw it all together. We'll
Basically,
see if anybody,
Chewbacca, isn't
yeah.
it?
Then we'll see if anybody will be stupid enough to pay good money for it.
See, now there's the genius of that, because I saw the trailer for Guardians and I thought it looked absolutely awful. And I thought, done with Marvel, this looks absolutely terrible, stock comedy shit. Then as soon as I saw it, I thought, wow, how wrong was I? Like, it's one of those instances where like I didn't like the trailer, but the film was fantastic. And Superman Returns is ironically the opposite of that, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, when we saw the trailer for that, I think we were all like,
yes,
this looks great. Like the bit where he saves the plane, wow, that's amazing. And then that was the only cool bit in it.
I would say, yeah, I completely agree with what you said about Superman Returns. Superman Returns, but you know when I saw the trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy, I sat in the cinema and was going, "You better not fucking let me down." Because I fucking loved that trailer. I was sitting there going, "This is going to be good. Don't fucking let me down now, Marvel."
And I was like the sort of like happy the opposite way, because like I went in with no expectations and came out like, everyone needs to see this film now. Like,
I was like, I have to get the soundtrack.
Yeah, so you were a genius and knew it was going to work, whereas I was kind of like, oh, not a Star Wars copy again.
Yeah. But by the time Guardians came out, we were talking about how many films into the MCU. So I was literally
2 are we now? 22 films in, are we?
22,
now,
22, yeah. But back,
I mean,
but
how
back
popular
then,
that's made it all, you know.
And Guardians is, I mean, you think of the period, that was phase 2, wasn't it? Yeah, it was just after Ragnarok. It was the last one.
Wasn't it the film before Ultron?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it came off of Iron Man 3 of Thor Ragnarok. Not Ragnarok. Everybody loves Ragnarok. I mean, Dark World.
Thor 2. Yeah.
Thor Dark World.
I think, you know, like that is the difference. Marvel can make films that you don't have to be a superhero fan to like.
Yeah. And
DC haven't quite cracked that yet. I mean, I suppose like the original Batmans and the original Supermans, you don't particularly have to be like, they're like this sort of what do you call it, like the whipped up recipe for how to do an origin story or how to do a good superhero film. Whereas the MCU is like accessible for all, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, unless you watch like the sequels first, it obviously doesn't make any sense. But you almost, if you exclude the mid-credit scene than that. You could watch them in any order.
Yeah.
Couldn't you?
But don't go into Endgame without watching Infinity War.
No, I would. Yeah, I would probably not go into the.
Because that's one movie. It's like what? Yeah, you know what? I think go from this. This has been an interesting one because listen, going into it, you think one thing, but for me, I think the winner is Man of Steel.
Yeah, I do as well now. Actually, I used to think it was Superman Returns, but yeah, I think there's more going. I mean, I still think it's muddy and has problems, and it was extremely underwhelming. But it is. Yeah, I think it's the winner, definitely.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, it's the whole thing for me is the rose tinted glasses, the continuity with the Christopher Reeve Superman. So that was always going to have a soft spot in my heart. But we're not talking about what about the character and what it means to me. We're talking about what is the better film, and it's definitely out of the two of them. Man of Steel is definitely the winner.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So I hope they manage to sort things out, and I hope Zack Snyder gets to do. I hope the Justice League cut.
Yeah,
It's going to be good because I'd love to see what he could do if he got to use his own palette. Whereas Bryan Singer, I'm sorry, Apocalypse is one of the worst films I've seen. So you lose Bryan Singer. I love him for what he did. I love him for introducing me to the X-Men universe through the X-Men movies. But that remark, slating, because he's the director, so ultimately they could have cut it. That whole line about coming out when they come out of the cinema and Apocalypse slating the third film by using Return of the Jedi. I got pissed off at that point, not because of saying about Return of the Jedi, more to do with the fact that they used it as a cheap shot at Last Stand, which I thought was absolute bullshit.
Yeah,
so he lost.
And ironically, they were in their third shitty movie.
Yeah.
I also took a bit of umbrage at that because, like, of all the sequels to, sort of take the piss out of for a third one being bad, it's not Return of the Jedi, is it?
No.
Like, I mean, at the time, you were there at the time.
Yeah.
Was everyone like, no, this third one's not going to be
No.
good? Everyone was like,
can't wait to see what happens.
Even when Episode 3 came out, everyone is cool to hate the prequels now, but no one in the world that I knew was like, really looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone went to see it.
Exactly, and but the Return to the Prequel don't. But yes, it gets very old hat when you're slagging off a film, especially when it's in your own franchise. It's like drawing attention to you made a shit film,
but you're making one now.
Yeah. I like Last Stand. So
I like Last Stand as well. Yeah,
so
I mean, we did that previously, didn't we?
We did, yeah. Dark Phoenix versus Last Stand.
But it's just also like you wouldn't formulate an opinion like that on the spot after seeing. That's a retroactive opinion.
Yeah.
Where you go, well, thinking about it, there was problems with it. And there are some things in Return of the Jedi where you go, not as good as the other two, but you wouldn't at the time, being a kid who's just gone to see it and be like, well, actually, I've got my Mark Kermode hat on.
Yeah.
You were just like, oh my god, like, Star Wars is finished.
I totally are.
Yeah.
The thing, we've got a little bit of tangent because we haven't done a mini Star Wars in this edition, is the ending. You got the big bad Darth Vader for 3 films.
Yeah.
I was more upset about Darth Vader being killed off than I was the other with Boba Fett, Jabba the Hutt, and
yeah. Did you give a
Yoda.
shit about Apocalypse being killed? No.
No. But the thing is, say about Superman Returns, when we go on to Last Stand. Last Stand generated, which was the film they slated up, did more money and did better at the box office than Bryan Singer's. So why are you slating? Maybe that might be one of the reasons why Apocalypse.
No jealousy there.
Yeah.
Brett Ratner.
So yeah. If I was going to say Superman Returns or Last Stand.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
I never had a problem with it back in the day, to be honest.
I enjoyed it. I did. But yeah, Bryan Singer, remember to keep your mouth shut when he comes to doing stuff like that at the moment, definitely. But in terms of doing that, because that really, my opinion of Bryan Singer went completely down after Apocalypse. So
yeah.
Zack Snyder for doing, like I said, for Watchmen, I've still got the rose tinted glasses on for him, but honestly, Man of Steel, in my opinion, is the superior. So.
Yeah, definitely, I agree.
So yeah, we actually agree. Yes.
Yeah. Usually, this is where we draw a line in the sand.
Oh yeah. Then don't talk to each other for a week. For the record, we don't do that.
We're not really that shallow.
No, we're not. No.
all the fighting stays in the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to listen to what people do that, there are other channels out there.
YouTubers out there.
Yes, I'm not going to mention the name because I don't want to draw attention and start an internet feud.
Yeah. Although that would be cool.
But then, no,
Fight them.
they have to get out of the basements first.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Oh,
Have to use the ex-wife to get them from Iron Man 2.
yeah. I just want to go for a record. Just go slightly off the subject. You go to these conventions and you're a big fan of, say, we'll just say Superman, and you're expecting all the detractors there that hate the thing that you love. They're never going to be there because they don't.
No.
They don't go out. I only found out this from Doctor Who convention because with Jodie Whittaker being announced.
Yeah.
You expected a big backlash, and I went to a convention after episode 8 came out, and there was a big backlash.
Yeah.
You go to these conventions, there's none of it because everybody loves the thing.
Yeah.
Basement dwellers are the ones that cause the shit.
Keyboard warriors.
Exactly. So on that note, I'm Stevie W. This has been
Callum.
Yeah, see you soon.
That was good.
That was.
Shall we